The once again updated Honda Ridgeline gets a new trim for the 2024 model year, this TrailSport you see right here. And it includes genuinely off-road friendly changes like all-terrain tires, a retuned suspension, and a skid plate up front. Let's take a closer look. Looking at the car from the front, it looks largely the same as it did for the 2021 model year update, to my eyes at least, but this new TrailSport trim does have a few unique traits that make it stand out. Of course, you get this TrailSport logo right here, but you also get a unique front grille and this black crossbar along the top, and the skid plate cover is this pewter gray right here. This is plastic, but there is a steel skid plate underneath. And generally, I think it's a nice looking vehicle. I like that it's got a nice broad look to it. It's nice and vertical. The grille goes straight down. You get this fairly beefy bumper right here, and you have some ridges in that pewter gray lower point that I was talking about. Some grille openings here, a lot of grille openings up top, and these nice big headlights to look at right here. And this black crossbar does kind of cut off the running beams from the main beams right here. You also do have fog lights down low and some vents right here to protect from a high pressure zone forming under the front wheel wells. The hood itself has some nice ridges here and kind of bulges up in the center, but maybe you're like me and you'd rather see what's underneath it. Well, there it is, your 3.5 liter single overhead cam V6, 280 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. You can see that it is tucked nice and low in the engine bay. That's a solid 4 inches beneath this spot right here. And it does have this pretty elaborate air intake right here. Has all these baffles here, I think, to quiet the air intake down a bit. Filters back here, and the actual throttle body's over there. So the air intake is actually under the grille right here, and the battery is actually underneath this baffling here, down low right there, towards the front, but also down low. Off to the side here, fuse box. Here's your ABS pump right here, and right next to all that, your windshield washer fluid is right up front, real easy to get to right here. Looking at the truck in profile, this gives you a better chance to see the Radiant Red Metallic 2 paint. This is the one and only option for $455, and I think it's a perfectly lovely color. Generally, this fits the pretty standard truck profile these days, a much longer cabin and shorter bed. That's becoming more and more common. Because this is a TrailSport trim, we do have this gloss black for the side view mirror covers, and we do also have black for the window trim as well. Also, there is a little bit more gloss black right here, just after the cabin, before the bed, this like tiny little buttress almost right here. It's a nice little detail, I have to say. We do also have black down here for the lower rockers and black for the wheel wells on both the back and up front as well. I will go ahead and put the dimensions on the screen right now for you to check out and let you know that I have a lot more information in the description. Because this is a TrailSport trim, we have 18-inch wheels, also finished in pewter gray, just like the skid plate up front, and we definitely have unique tires. These are General Grabber all-terrain sport tires, size 245 60R 18s, and that 60 is the critical number in my mind, because that means you have a nice big sidewall to work with, a little bit more spring to work with, a little bit more cushioning here. But you can see there's this chunky stuff here on the sidewalls. That doesn't really mean much, but look at these big hunky chunks of tread right here. We have big gaps between them, and they're siped in between those gaps as well. So this tire obviously is clearly meant to spread out and dig into dirt and sand more than your average mud and snow. I definitely appreciate seeing that. And yes, this is a square setup. The wheels and tires in back are the same size as what's in front. Looking at the truck from the back, there is one big, fairly obvious change, and that is this massive Ridgeline lettering stamped into the back of the tailgate. This is for all Ridgelines, not just the TrailSport, but the TrailSport does get its own badge right here. And More generally, we do also have these nice and big exhaust tips right here, dual exhaust tips. They are big, a little bit loud, but they are also very real, and I appreciate that. Nothing like a little bit of old school charm to include in this truck. Also, you do get a Class 3 hitch because after all, the Ridgeline can tow up to 5,000 pounds. But back here is where some of the strengths of the Ridgeline really start to show itself with the bed and access to the bed. Okay, to start, the tailgate opens very traditionally, falls down, doesn't have soft opening or anything like that, pretty straightforward, and it opens itself up to a bed that is 5 feet 4 inches deep. Not terribly deep, but it is more than 48 inches wide. I think it's around 50 inches wide at its narrowest point, so you can lay 4 by 8 foot sheets of plywood flat in this bed, and that's nice. And as you can see, there are a couple little things here, a couple of lights built in the bed here. You also have 8 different tie down points, 4 in back and 4 towards the back of the cab. That's all pretty standard, but this is where the Ridgeline starts getting fun. The tailgate has a second way to open, and it literally tells you so. There it is imprinted into the back bumper right here. It says release, put your hand under here, and it opens like a door, swings out this way, and that gives you much easier access to things inside the bed and easy access to this little storage right here. Turn a couple of flaps and you have this little pocket here. It goes in a few inches. It would be handy for small tools, trinkets, things like that. But it also gives you easy access to a watertight 7.3 cubic feet worth of space right here. It goes very deep, almost the length of my arm, goes all the way down, and it is all hard plastic. There is a drain plug down here, so this could double as a massive cooler for tailgating or an easy to clean storage space. It is a very handy, copious amount of space. Also, you can see right here that we do have a jack and a space saver spare as well. That is a really handy trick. Based on the fact that it's a wide truck, I think it's pretty obvious that it will, but I am still going to test, will my bike fit? Yeah, my bike fits. But what if you don't want to get your bike wet? Hold that thought, because the second row of the Honda Ridgeline has these handles right here. Pull on these and the seat bottoms come right up and lock into place, giving you this nice flat floor and tall space to work with. Same over here, locked in place. And look at this fairly narrow but also tall and I think pretty darn wide space, and I think my bike will fit here as well. But let's find out. Well, this part is certainly easy. Yes, it fits, and it actually fits pretty easily. I have to have the handlebars turned up front, but it slides right in to the back of the truck, no problem. Not only will your bike fit in the bed, easily of course, but it will also fit in the back seat standing up. Pretty sweet. All right, let's see if we can sit people in the back seat. Of course, you do have to pull on these handles to get the seats back down, but this arm right here folds into place as the seat drops down. So as soon as you release that handle, it's just one motion, locks back into place. Right here. Nice. And it looks like we have enough space for people back here. I am 5 feet 11 inches or 181 centimeters tall, and you can see that I have knee room, but just a little bit. I'll say about a half an inch or, 12, 13 millimeters. But the seat bottom is nice and high, so I have good thigh support, and I have headroom, and the truck's fairly tall, so I actually have right around, maybe slightly less than, a 90-degree bend in my knees. I do also have a cup holder, another additional space right there. I do have a mat pocket, of course, and if I look down low, a cigarette-style charge port right here. The truck is nice and wide, so I do have good hip and shoulder room as well. And of course, I do have an armrest with cup holders and an extra little cubby right here. So yeah, it's perfectly reasonable in the Ridgeline. Maybe not long road trips, but generally adults would be comfortable back here. 2 of them at least. All right, to the front. Of course, it is more spacious up front, and we do have plenty of space. We have this storage right here, slightly deeper down here, right behind the fuel door opener. We have another map pocket down here, and even a third little cubby space right here, right behind the usual controls on the door. You do have 2-position seat memory, as well as adjustments for the seat right here, including lumbar support right here. This being a TrailSport, the interior is black. That is your only option. But also standard with the TrailSport is this orange stitching on the seats and TrailSport embroidered into the headrests. The orange stitching you'll see throughout here, on the steering wheel, on the door. Not to mention TrailSport rubber cargo mats and plenty of controls to the left of the steering wheel, including your side view mirror adjust right here. Also, real quick, this is the Econ button. You can use this in any drive mode. You do have adjustable tilt and telescoping steering. It is manually done with this lever right here. The steering wheel itself is a decently fat rim, and you also have that orange stitching, and you also have cruise control options on the right and other media controls on the left. I'll show you some of that in just a moment. We do also have paddle shifters, downshift on the left, upshift on the right for your 9-speed automatic transmission. We also have a 7-inch digital instrument cluster with an actual analog speedometer right there. So if you look closely, you can see the needle, and next to that is a 9-inch center display right there. Push button starts right here. And there is the 7-inch digital instrument cluster lit up right next to the real speedometer, and there is your 9-inch center display lit up. You do have a fair amount of control over the digital part of your instrument cluster. That is done with these buttons right here. So if I hit the home, it gives me these options, and then I use this dial here to scroll and see all the different things I can do. This one's a favorite, so I press on that dial, and that gives me the all-wheel drive distribution. Press on the home button again, I go back to the list. You can see tire pressure, that's nice to see. Going back with home. With brightness, you can adjust it with the dial, so I'm using the dial to change the brightness. And then home again. You also have the more typical things like range and fuel, speed and time. Pretty nice. One of the buttons over here beyond cruise control is a heated steering wheel. That is available on TrailSport and Black Edition trims. We do also get front heated seats. Those are on the RTL and higher trims, so 3 of the 4. The 9-inch center display does come standard with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it is wireless. That is very nice. You do also have the Bluetooth connection, of course, and it generally works well, though I have experienced when I use the steering wheel controls to use the Apple CarPlay that there is some lag. So this is not the fastest working system out there, but it does have real buttons for home and back, a real power button and knob for the sound system, and track controls and things like that right there. Beneath that, we actually have 3-zone climate control. Now, the rear passengers cannot control it themselves, but you do have rear settings. So 3-zone climate control, 1 place to control it. Beneath that, here's another look at your heated seat controls, another little cubby right here, and below that, a standard wireless smartphone charger right there. You also have USB Type A, USB Type C, and cigarette style 12-volt power right there. Beneath that, you have the push button Prindle right here. This is how you change your drive modes, and this is how you turn on and off auto stop start for the engine. Next to that, you have 2 nice and deep cup holders, and past that, you have a nice big and wide center storage area right here, and it does go nice and deep and have this little coin tray right next to that. Looking up, this is one of my favorite parts. We do have a sunglasses holder right here, but we also have a power tailgate window right here. I really like this. This is on the RTL and higher trims, and with it, you can open the rear tailgate window. Next to that, we do have a power moonroof and a manual privacy panel right here. Lovely. The windshield itself on RTL and higher trims is an acoustic glass, and that will help make the vehicle just a little bit quieter inside. Let's talk drive modes. Like I said, the button's right here. With it, you get normal, snow, mud, and sand drive modes. But also, don't forget, you have with every one of them, the Econ button right here. So you can turn Econ off and on with that button right here. So there you have it. A close look at the updated, again, 2024 Honda Ridgeline. This one, the brand new TrailSport. I'm Robin Warner. Thank you very much for watching.